Like, you have all this stuff. They might have fallen. You gotta leave. We kicked them out of the park.
He robbed the store to hang out with you, and you extorted him and kicked him out of the party. You're so mean.
It gets better. It gets better.
Holy boys. Look at us. Hopefully you can see us. If not,
if not, we'll shoot ourselves in the fucking head.
You know we've been struggling out here.
I damn near broke the new iPhone. That it won't upload. I don't know what it is about iPhones and Google Drives. Like I said, iPhones are shit. But it seems to work for the recording, and hopefully it'll work tonight.
Hey, you know what? Kyle, how was your week? As he goes for a sip.
Right, it set me up right there, but it was good. It was good. The weekend was mostly where the fun was, because today is my daughter Brooklyn's birthday. She will never watch this, so I'm not going to bother saying happy birthday to her here. But we had extravaganza for the whole weekend. So Friday did like the quick cleanup. So we decided we were going to do the kind of a little bit of a mixture of the drive-by birthdays that everybody's been doing for their kids. A little bit of that, and stop and stay for a minute. So we, because the first birthday was like March 22nd, 2020, which was approximately 2 weeks after everything was shut down. So we had the gymnasium booked, we had all everything set up, everybody's gonna come, it was gonna be a huge party, because we wanted to have a big birthday party for her. Ends up, we have a smash cake at home by ourselves, so no first birthday. So this one, we're like, fuck it, we're getting people. Like, it's been a year. Bonnie Henry said we can have 10 fucking people outside, so if I could take her up on that offer. So we open up the garage, set up a big tent on the driveway. Just had people between 11 and 2 just show up, stay for a little bit. Pretty much everybody that showed up had kids, so they just played around. But me and Brittany built her this little jungle gym thing. God damn, was that a bitch! It was crazy expensive, but it's a lot of piping with different like 3-prong connectors on the bottom, then 5 in the middle. It's basically a little tower with a square piece on the top, so she can climb on it. Mm-hmm. But each pole has the button presses to connect into.
Yeah.
All of them were hard as shit. So like your hands are raw halfway through. So we ended up using a little scraper, pushing it in. Did all the bottom ones backwards because they don't read the directions, as Brittany reminded me a couple times. But finally get it set up and it's perfect. But then that night as well, Brittany made cupcakes. But like I had my 3 a.m. shift and started making cupcakes around 11:30. I'm sitting there with her, and when you go to sleep, you have a dream. It's kind of like a nightmare where you're driving and you like say you go off an edge and you're about to hit and you kind of wake up a little. Oh, what the hell? Like you kind of have that feeling.
Yeah. So
I had that, but it was because I was falling in real life because I was standing up, fell asleep, and as I was falling down, it woke me up and I caught myself right before I hit the ground. So I'm like, okay, well, I apologize, but you're finishing the cupcakes on your own. I gotta get to sleep before I die. So I had to leave her for that. But then the party was awesome. People showed up, left when other people showed up, and just shitload of cupcakes. Brooklyn ate too much because I don't say no to her that often. She's got me wrapped around her finger. She ate my damn meal today. She had her rice and then she jumped down and she's like, oh, I'm gonna go play. And I'm like, whatever. Instead, just comes over, jumps on my lap, starts eating my rice. I cut a piece of chicken. She'll take half of it. I'm like, oh god. It's your birthday,
hopefully she has your metabolism.
Yeah, she will.
The Lorto metabolism never gain a pound.
Or we'll be running a lot. One way or another.
Yeah, we're gonna be making a run.
We'll make sure it's all good. But yeah, it was a crazy hectic weekend. It was good though. It was fun and nice for her.
So this week in the life of Dustin, we have our not so weekly movie review. I watched this movie this week, Kyle. It's called The Last Whistle.
Coke Zero. You said Coke Zero tastes like Coke.
It doesn't taste like Coke?
No, it's off Coke. It's Coke minus. It's Coke negative.
Fuck, Kyle.
It's kind of like Pepsi.
Honestly,
not as good.
Honestly, I can't even really fight you because we bought it thinking, oh, it tastes like Coke, and then Hope was like, no, it doesn't. Yeah. And now, as you can see by the case of Coke there, we immediately bought actual Coke.
And the thing is, I don't really drink that much pop anymore. I drink beer and water. That's pretty much it. So when you're like, oh, do you want a Coke Zero? I'm like, yeah, it's probably Coke-esque. But see, it's Coke adjacent.
We save all the Coke for the lady, and then I'm just like, well, if it's got sugar, I'll probably drink it. Mm-hmm. So that's why it just stays in my fridge. I'm gonna stay up tonight. Yeah.
Well, I gotta wash it down with water. But sorry, keep going with your movie.
So, I watched this movie called The Last Whistle. There's nobody notable in it.
The Last Whistle.
It's a football movie, and it came out, I think, 2019, if I recall correctly. It says it's not based on a true story, but several true stories. Well, so basically, it's a made-up story that has influence from a bunch of things that may or may not have happened. It's a recipe for suspect.
Yeah, that's a caveat. That's I want you guys to watch it because it's kind of based on a true story, but I'm making it all up. Now, I'm trying to create a story here.
Before I jump into the ridiculous premise, Kyle, you played basketball for a long time.
Couple times.
A lot of cardio in basketball. You run up and down the court.
Yeah.
When you're in basketball practice, I didn't play basketball.
We know.
When you're in basketball practice, coach is like, hey, we're going to run lines.
Yeah.
How many lines do you think you do, of a basketball court? What's a, damn, we worked.
Well, for all of the kind of training camp leading into the season, we'd start every practice with 5 sets of suicides. And if you don't get a faster time each time, then you add one extra one to the end. And then
5 sets of suicides is essentially running the length of the gym 3 or 4 times?
I guess I don't know. I don't run the length. It's just foul line back, center back.
Yeah, suicides. But if you added that up, you think it's 2 lengths then?
It'd be going back and forth probably 13 times.
Okay, that's it. It's not bad. So when I played football, if we got penalties that week, pretty much every single penalty, we had to sprint the length of the field. So, you do the math, 20 yards in penalties, that's really 2 penalties in a game most of the time. Yeah. It could be 4 if they were cheeky, but more often than not, 10-yard penalties, pretty standard. 20 sprints, cool. You got those hell days where some days it's 70 yards of penalties, you'll be running all day.
Yeah.
So I've run in the upwards of 100 sprints at practice.
Yeah.
So in this movie, in The Last Whistle, centered around a coach who's coaching a high school football team. His high school football team is a championship team. They've been a perennial in the finals all the time. Very well-run program, runs a tight ship. And so on this fateful day, you've got this one kid who, I think his name's Benny. Let's go with Benny. I feel like it was a Benny. He's a running back that really cares about football. He doesn't have good grades, so his chance to go to college is pretty much solely predicated on getting a scholarship for football. He has a mother that doesn't like football and doesn't see any value in football and thinks that he's wasting his time. She's very supportive.
Yeah.
But this coach is in his corner. This coach is like, we can get you there. And I always have time for you. You ever need anything, you come to my office, I'll always make time for you. Well, on this particular day, they got a big game coming up, and it's big for everybody. There's Auburn coach is come to the practice and was like, hey coach, if you do well this week, we can probably offer you a job at Auburn. play coach Div 1 football. So it's a big week for the coach, too. It's a big week for everybody. And there's this one kid on the team. He's just a fucking dick. His name's like Mark. He's just a fucking dick. And Mark doesn't give a shit about the team, clearly. He's upset in the game that they show. He's upset he didn't play. So he's like, Dad, you're rich. Do something about it. Bruh. That already had me triggered.
Okay, quick pause. So when they said it's based on true stories, did they mean that they just based this movie on every other sports movie? Like, they just took little bits of every one and just threw them all in there? Like,
realistically, I don't actually think the person that made this movie, like, you'll understand in a minute, I don't think the person that wrote this script actually ever played high school football. Because their interpretation of how these players respond, how they act, how the coaches act, how the community and the league responds to things, and just, like, real life is so inaccurate that, like, the actors are just...
He's clearly talking about something he's not informed on.
No, clearly not.
And never asked anybody.
So anyways, Mark's a dickhead, doesn't want to work hard. He's just like, why are we doing this? This is stupid. And so it's practice. It's like first practice of the week. People are running late, like they're trying to scramble to get their gear on. And Mark's like not even changed. He's just like on his phone. And so he ends up holding up like a group of like 3 or 4 guys. So his 3 or 4 guys are late to practice. They're 11 minutes late. Now, you might think it's not a big deal, but in high competitive situations, such as this very intense high school, and in college, it was the same way. If you're late, everyone runs.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Coach is like, you guys were late, 11 minutes, 11 sprints. I haven't even like blinked yet because to me, I'm like 11 sprints.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't care.
It makes sense.
I'm not even like, it doesn't even, this is just like the warm up for the practice. It means nothing to me. It doesn't even register that this is a significant thing in this plot. But it is. So they run 11 sprints, or seemingly 11, and Mark stops. And he's like, why'd you stop? He's like, that's 11, I counted. He's like, no, it wasn't. You have one more. Run it. Everyone's running it. And he's like, no. And he's like, basically like, you're an idiot. Now you're all running even more because Mark doesn't want to run. Finish the drill, Mark.
Yeah.
Or get the fuck out of here. You don't want to be here? Go. Like, I'm triggered at this point. I'm livid. Like, I'm not even on this team. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah, you're living a reality TV show through this.
And, like, the coach is like, hey, guys, your boy Mark doesn't want to run with the team. And everyone's like, dude, fucking run. Like, everyone's like, dude, what are you using?
Yeah.
No, why are you listening to him? And I'm like, who is this guy? Get him out of here.
Yeah.
I'm so heated right now. This is like 7 minutes into the movie, and I'm heated, bro. Like, I'm heated. Anyways.
Every time you talk about movie, I'm so fascinated by how into the movie, how, like, you make it into a real life event. Like, your mind's so good at that where you're fully immersed. Where, like, you refer to this guy as Mark every single time. Not, like, the character on the show, like, his team. Like, these are real life. These guys were at York. They were right beside you. You were talking shit about them back at the dorms. Like, yeah. It's crazy how immersed you can get into these.
Anyways, I'm fucking pissed, bro. And so, finally Mark's like, fine, whatever. But Benny's having a hard time, and like, because he's pushing himself. And he's getting tired. And my brain's like, bro, it's 11 sprints. Maybe 12. Is your running back? What's the deal?
Yeah, if you're competitive.
And he drops to the floor. And I'm thinking, shit. Benny have an issue? Like, has he got like a lung breathing or a heart issue? Well, Benny dies on the field.
Benny dies?
He dies on the field. And everyone's like, oh shit. And they get the ambulance and they're like, yep. He's dead. And I'm thinking to myself,
why did he die?
yo, what's the heart issue? He's got a heart. You have to have a heart issue. You don't just die from 11 sprints.
He ran himself to
That's
death.
That's why I started with the question. 11 sprints, and you're first off, you're throwing up. Relax, bro. Yeah. Like, relax. Anyone that ever played sports had to run 11 sprints, then damn, that sucks. But they don't.
That's like, if you're getting sick, you're feeling bad. That's the first practice after summer. Maybe you're not fully into it. You're getting into the runs, and you're like, okay, this is like the McDonald's is catching up to me. You get because generally, like for I don't know for football as well, but for basketball, when you're like for spring club teams, the beginning, like the first like couple weeks is basically to weed out who doesn't actually want to be there. And you set up puke buckets in all the corners, and it's just running for 2-3 weeks. You just constantly run. So if you're in the middle of the season and you can't run, and you're in a competitive, like, might win champion,
you're a running back.
Yeah, and you're the runner. Oh my god, running back. I didn't even think of that.
But, like, also, you could be like, but Dustin, if you actually sprinted as hard as you could the whole time, you'd be so tired. Shut the fuck up. Anybody that ever played sports knows that if coach says, we're running 5 laps, all right, here's my relatively effort-fueled light jog to finish this task, because I still have 2 hours he's expecting me to practice after I finish these sprints. No one's fucking sprinting.
To be the lineman.
Exactly. Like, what?
I'm sitting here like, no. I was at try hard. I was the one that won every race. That was what I was going for.
No.
I'm like, oh, you're the one that keeps the average down so that we don't have to do extra laps at the end. You're the one that, like, because that's always what it was, is that whatever type of sprint you were doing, if you're doing 5 of them, if you get this amount of time, you have to always beat it, or you have to be around it. If it was just the top guy, we'd always be fucked because the centers were at the back.
Yeah, but no, especially in college, the linemen had a different tax bracket. They were paying a different tax bracket than the other guys when it came to times for running.
We weren't counting the 40-yard dash at the same level here.
But regardless, what's the heart issue? Well, anyways, so it turns out Benny's got a heart issue, and his mom apparently didn't know. And they wouldn't have found out except for the fact that he died. And his mom is saying that makes the coach a murderer. You didn't know your kid had a heart issue, which you're supposed to disclose when you register the kid for sports.
Yeah, like you get a physical.
And he didn't even, they're not even 20 minutes into practice, and he died because he has a heart issue. And you're saying I'm the bad coach? This is basic level conditioning, and you're playing this up like I just, like, pushed you to the edge of your life, and that any of these kids in this room could have died. No one died, just the kid with the heart condition that the mom didn't fucking know about.
Yeah.
What? So anyways, they have, like, it's obviously sad. They cancel practice, whatever.
It's obviously sad, but every time you say he died, I laugh. It's so silly. Like, if this was like a real life thing, I'd probably laugh harder because of how stupid it is.
Now, there's an assistant coach named Greg. So the head coach's name was like Vic. So Greg's like, man, like, we got a big game this week. You really want to do like punishment runs right now? And Vic's like, we have to lay the discipline. If they think they can get away with this, then it all goes downhill. We need discipline. Yeah. We have to run no matter what the situation is. That's the standard we need to set. Greg's like, whatever, coach. So they ran. Now, after this game, first off, Vic goes to the bar way too often. There's probably 8 bar scenes that open exactly the same way. Here's the door frame. Here's Vic fucking walking in, sitting down. And for some reason, there's this one guy, I think his name's Bradley, who's just always there. He's just someone's dad. Hey, coach, I heard you killed the boy. And he's just like in his face antagonizing. I'm like, can someone give this guy a rest? Like, whose man's is this? Get him out of here. He's just consistently trying to create conflict. And then the bartender ends up kicking out the coach. He's like, coach, you just gotta leave. Like, this guy's good and you're the problem. Like, what?
That dude's been here for 2 weeks. He's paying for this bar.
It's just, all of these bar scenes are so ridiculous. Anyways, the Auburn coach, so they kind of like, they're getting ready for like the next game.
Yeah.
And the coach is like, you know what? I know, like, it happened this week. Greg was like, I don't think we should play this game. And the coach is like, no, like, the players, they want to play. They all want to play. They want to show solidarity for Benny. We're going to play this game. He tried to get the game postponed, but the other team said, no, we're not postponing the game for you, even though one of your kids died.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys can forfeit if you want.
This is American football.
Right? They're like,
You're supposed to die.
They're like, you can forfeit if you want. First off, what league has one of their teenage players die and doesn't push the game to the end of the season and move the game as a league? Not just like, coach, come on, one of our kids died this week. Can we postpone it? No, fuck you. The league should just be like, bang. And that's what would happen in real life. The league would just take control. Oh. They did it in the NFL. If someone got COVID, they bumped the game to the end of the year.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, it's simple. The league would just push the game to the end of the season, bump playoffs back 1 week. That's it. Done. Dealt with. No one's doing that. Coach is like, well, you guys want to play? The kids are like, yeah, we want to play. Well, they get to the field that day, and the superintendent's like, nope, no game. Go back to the locker room. He's like, what do you mean? All the players are pissed. They wanted to play.
Yeah.
And they're like, game's canceled. Greg canceled it. He's like, how does this guy have the authority? First off, fuck you, Greg. Fuck you.
Greg.
But then it's like, how does Greg have the authority to call the game when a head coach and the whole team wants to play?
Yeah.
And the superintendent's like, basically saying that if it were me, I'd fire you. If it were up to me, I'd fire you. And he's like, well, is it up to you? He's like, no, but I'm going to get like the board together and we're going to vote on it. And then Benny's mom is going to sue him. And instead of going to a court, they came up with some... Now, I don't know, maybe all civil hearings are like this, but like, this was new to me. I figured it was just a budget thing. They didn't want to rent out a courtroom and make this like legit. But basically, she explained it as in this civil court hearing, you don't need a lawyer. It's just you versus the other person, and you're going to be your own lawyer, and you're going to talk this out, and then I'll be the judge. And they're basically sitting at a table like this in someone's like fucking dining room. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I don't know if murder goes to civil court too often, but...
Anyways, and it's not even like... See, that's the thing. Pressing charges, I feel like, yeah, if you're like saying he's responsible for the murder, you're pressing charges. She sued him for $1, and her premise was that it doesn't matter about the money. I just want him to be convicted so that he can't coach again. And I'm like, but... And so anyways, she brings in, like... First off, it's not the coach's fault. Anyone with sense knows it's not the coach's fault that the kid died. It's a freak accident. That's it. And she's just like, no, fuck you still. And she's just being strong. She's bringing in all these, like, she brings in Greg to testify. Greg, did you say it was a bad idea to do sprints? Yeah. He made them sprint all day. It's like, it was 20 minutes, bitch.
Yeah.
It was not that much. And she's just, the narrative that she's striking. And who she get in? She gets in Mark. Mark to testify against his coach. Mark, why were you doing sprints? Because we were late. So it was a revenge thing for wasting his time. Interesting. And you did sprints for the whole practice? Yeah, well, like, the practice ended once. Yes. And then she's like, and you said you were done the sprints, but he made you keep going? Well, yeah, like, I thought I counted 11, but he still wanted us to sprint. And then once you kept going past 11, that's when it, And he's just like, and they're like, all right, thank you. And he's like, wait, I still have, like, more, like, I wanted to say. Like, I feel guilty. Like, if I just ran, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Like, he had a lot of, like, internal guilt. And she's like, you said, like, this would make me feel better. I don't feel better yet. It's like she basically is exposed that the mom just completely manipulated this Mark kid to come and talk shit about the coach for her own gain. I'm like, this mom's crazy. Absolute crazy. And then the judge basically comes to the logical conclusion, not the coach's fault, freak accident, acquitted.
Yeah.
He, like, goes to a newspaper reporter that he talked to who, like, slammed him in the newspaper. She's like, nah, everyone still thinks you did it. She doesn't give a fuck. The guy at Auburn, he's like, you forfeited that game, eh? That sucks. Guess you're not getting the job.
Yeah, no job.
Like, it was just absolutely ridiculous. And so, like, coach tries to go to this kid's fucking funeral. The mom just like, get out of here. Like, it's so shit. And meanwhile, there's like all these bar scenes. And I'm like, what is this movie? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then finally at the end, it's supposed to be like the conclusion. where like him and Mark have like some sit down dinner. Man, it was the dumbest thing ever. They're just sitting there, not saying a word, and then just as they're leaving, they have like this emotional, "I'm sorry, man," and like yell at each other, and then you get about 5 more minutes of him getting mad at his daughter for caring because she's like, "Dad, are you okay?" And he's like, "Fuck you," and it's just like the most ridiculous movie, and like the ending is stupid, doesn't even matter. They talk about the kid's death, and then nothing happens, and then it's over, credits roll. What a shit movie. I was mad at every single moment of this movie, was fucking livid. And at the end, I was like, why did I sit through this? The only good part was, it was the shortest movie I've watched in forever. It was like hour and 20 minutes. They don't make hour and 20 minutes anymore. Like, no. That is so fast.
It's so fascinating listening to you talk about him. I swear you saw this on the news. Like, this sounds like something that actually happened.
I guess that's what the coach was looking, or the writer was looking for.
Well, like, cause the writer the storyline is clearly shit. But terrible. Like the way that you describe it, it sounds like it's happening in real time and like real life scenarios are happening. It's so fascinating to see you go. And the fact that you're willing to watch, like, if I watch a show that I just can't stand after 20 minutes, we just turn it off. I put something new on.
I almost did.
Especially, like, did you watch it by yourself?
Basically, yeah.
So that's it.
I'm just sitting here getting mad.
This movie's shit.
Why is this happening?
It's been shit for so long.
Shit for 20 minutes. It's all another hour, but I must finish it. It was pretty bad. It just got me all kinds of irritated, and it brought up like a lot of like football memories. Funny story relating to football, nothing really to do with this movie, but came up.
That's a good sign. I'm done with that movie.
Yeah, I'm over that movie.
I listened to 20 minutes of it. You watched an hour 20. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're at the 20 minutes.
I'm sitting here watching the time go by. I'm like, can I stop him? Like, what do we do here? Like, if I just say, hey, pause, like, is that okay? Okay, let it get out.
It gets so heated. I talk about a shitty movie for 20 minutes. Everyone's like, oh my god. Make you feel as bad as I felt. Anyways.
My torment is your torment.
So when I was a freshman in uni, this big thing about concussions, everyone was like, man, you can't even say you have like a headache, or else the training staff's like, dude, like, they're like, what's wrong with you? And they're in your face, and you can miss like 2 weeks because of the concussion protocol. Yeah. So I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't say anything. And then I heard one of the guys say to the other guys, like one of the veterans, they're like 4th year and a 5th year. The guy's like, oh man, I've got a fucking boner right now. And I'm like, bro, what? And they're like, no. Like, headache.
Yeah, head boner.
I have a headache. We say it like that because you say boner and the therapists are like, ugh, and they like walk away and they don't look at you. You say headache, they're in your face, right? So it's just like a code word. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Fast forward like a week and a half, and I hit my head pretty good, and I definitely had a minor concussion at the time. And I remember I'm walking off the field, and I'm just like, oh my god. And I'm walking on, and the guys are like, what's up? I'm like, oh man, I just have like the biggest boner right now. And these guys are like, pfft. Insert homophobic slurs, but like
this fucking guy.
Yeah, they just start roasting me, and I'm just like, that was never a thing. they just made up the boner thing to fuck with me.
This is what they did to me. I'm doing it back to them.
Yeah, like I was just like, oh, okay. Walked into that one.
Yeah,
like,
I'm here now,
motherfuckers. I think some of my favorite things, like flashback to like last week we talked about the ice cream story.
Yeah.
I feel like when I just like don't get something, because like I feel like I get a lot of things. But when I don't understand or I make a like misunderstanding, my misunderstandings have like the funniest outcomes, at least in my opinion. Maybe other people think I'm just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
There was
a little bit of both.
There there was this time I worked at a restaurant, and there was 2 guys that I worked with, and they were pretty good friends of mine. Now, we were talking about the concept of you don't shit where you eat, i.e., you don't hook up with the other girls at work. You let them be. It's bad news bears. You hook up with people you work with, especially in a restaurant setting, it's always bad news bears.
Yeah.
Well, they said there was this girl that used to work here, and let's give her the name Sandra. That's a really old person name. No one. I don't even.
Sandra.
I think my grandma's name is Sandra. I don't know.
Sandra Bullock is the only thing I've ever heard of Sandra.
Let's call her Sarah. So like this
Yeah,
girl,
a little normal.
This girl Sarah worked at the restaurant. So they both hooked up with her at one point in time, and it was just like bad news bears, and whatever. And so they heard about that story. I heard how poorly it went. And then it kind of like left my mind because I didn't really care. It was just like whatever drama before I even worked here. So like whatever. Now, anyways, my boss is like, "Oh yeah, Sarah's coming back," and I'm thinking like, that name's familiar. Oh right, Sarah. Interesting. And so I see on the schedule Sarah's first day. I see her, and then I see my buddy, the one that I know hooked up with her, and I'm like, ooh. The tea. Yeah. This is the first time that they've worked together. This first day, I'm like, ooh, this will be interesting. Sarah worked she worked like 2 hours before his start time, and Sarah was really pretty. She's a very pretty girl. I was actually when I first saw her, I was like, damn, boys, like I really didn't think you were in this pay grade, like
boys.
Like the boys. I was like, I didn't think they had that. But she was really pretty, so I was like, all right, whatever. Like, props to these guys.
Yeah.
Shooting out of their range.
God, sounds like a good personality.
Exactly. Anyways, so, but I'm looking at Sarah, and I'm here, and like, I remember the details of what some of them said, and I'm kind of like, I'm not laughing at her, but I'm kind of like, I see her, and I'm like, and I'm kind of like, I'm just like giggling to myself.
I don't know you, but I know you.
And see, the thing is, I thought I was being like slick about it. I thought it was like low key. Yeah. I spoke to her after all this was cleared up, and she's like, I was wondering why the fuck you were looking at me like that. Because you could tell I was looking at her in a weird way. Like, what's wrong with this guy? What's he thinking? But anyways, so I'm laughing. And so my buddy shows up. He starts working, and I'm like, dude, see, Sarah's here. And he's like looking, he's like, yeah, so? And I'm like, isn't that the one? And he starts laughing. He's like, nah, there was 2 Sarahs. And so I thought this Sarah was the one that got fucking, they ran a train on us at work.
Oh my God.
And meanwhile, it was this other Sarah. And I guess these 2 Sarahs don't like each other. And so I was thinking she was this one and this. And then so after the fact, like not that much after, like relatively right after, maybe like a day or two, I tell her about the miscommunication. She's like, you thought I was that fucking bitch? What the fuck? It was all kinds of
random drama that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was like, Dustin, what's wrong with you? I'm just starting shit. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I had another story. Story time with Dustin today. So, Kyle, you don't have any tattoos, but yeah, the little baby one. No, Kyle, he also has a bit of a tramp stamp too. You don't see it too often, but
what?
I'm gonna Photoshop a tramp stamp. I'm gonna find a picture of Kyle from behind and put a tramp stamp on him. It'll be the cover photo for
a little butterfly.
Yeah. Anyways, one thing that's happened to me in my life is people be like, "Oh, you have tattoos." Same. Let me show you. And it's like some weird like bonding thing over tattoos.
I do that all the time.
I don't care, right? Like, I don't care. Oh, you have tattoos? So many people have tattoos.
You didn't even bother to ask me about my tattoos. Why would I care about your tattoos?
Yeah, so like bonding over tattoos to me has always been stupid. Now, I knew this guy in college, and we went to Montreal for a weekend. And one day, one of the nights we come back in the morning, this guy wakes up. He's like, "Oh my god, shit got crazy." And he's like one of those hype artist guys. It's like really fucking lame. But he's like, "Man, we got so fucked up. We drank so many beers." But you really doubt him every time he says that. And so he comes out, he's like, crazy last night, check it out. And he shows us he got a fucking tattoo last night. And we're like, bro, what?
That's real.
He's like,
though.
man, I was so fucked up. I don't even remember doing this. Well, that's red flag number one. What tattoo place is letting you get fucked up and just tattooing people that are blitzed? Like, that's like hard
fun
against.
one.
That's
the fun tattoo
that's
place.
bad news bears. I don't know many places that would even let that go.
That's where you just go into the basement and get the tattoo gun, get a little black ink on the side.
Anyways, he's got this big, like, tribal piece. It's like a bull, and it's on his knee. And I'm looking at him like, man, that's a lot of black ink. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, yeah, it's because I'm a Taurus. And I'm like, one.
Oh, there's nothing more badass than saying your horoscope.
Yeah, one, I'm like, okay, I guess. People get their horoscope, but whatever. Like, I'm actually more concerned that you have a Pisces tattoo on your back already. Like, did you forget you did that? Because that's a thing back there. And he's like, yeah, I just needed an excuse. And I'm like, oh, so you're admitting that had nothing to do with it. You just needed a story. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, whatever. You're an idiot. Let this guy go. I don't think twice about it.
Yeah.
So, fast forward like a day or two, I think, and we're on the bus back to Toronto. And I'm sitting, I can't remember how. I think I was sitting next to a girl, and like her friend was on the other aisle. And they're talking to me about my tattoos, and they're asking me about them. And so, like, I'm telling them the stories, whatever, and we're talking about it. And this guy's sitting in like the seat ahead of us, and I just hear him go, ow, and he kind of like says it so I can hear him, and I just like look at him, and I'm just like, just don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, I'm not falling for your shit here. I'm not falling for it.
And then so like we keep talking, give it like a minute or two here. Kind of hurts still. And he's like talking to nobody because no one next to him is fucking listening to him. He's just talking loud and up so that I can hear him, that we can hear him back here.
Yeah.
And I'm ignoring him. And then I hear, ow, Dustin. And I'm like, oh my God. He's like, it hurts. And I'm just like, don't answer. And then one girl's like, what hurts? And he's like, he like swerves in with the head. Hey. Except he's like, my new tattoo. But it's like the way he just like swerved in. I was just like, oh, cringe. And they're like, oh, you just got a new tattoo? And he's like, yeah, do you want to see it? And he's just like, that's like his pickup. He's like, yeah, I got a new tattoo. Like, you want to see it? So and I'm just like, fucking kill me. You're so cringe. And then he feeds them the Taurus thing. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, can I leave? Like, can I jump off this bus? I don't care if I'm in like,
out.
I do not care if I'm in the middle of this highway. Like, just get me out of here. I fucking hate it. And it's just like, those kind of people just fucking kill me.
They are the worst. Like, it's especially because, like, that's it's a kind of running joke that I have with Brittany and her family is I call them double question Seabrooks. So they it's a similar line where you go to say something like oh, that wasn't that great. Oh, what? And then they'll say what they want to say. So they'll say something to kind of entice you to bring up that one question. So they
entice you to ask.
They don't want to impose on you what they want to say, but they want you to set up the conversation. Now they can say what they want to say freely.
Low key, that's super annoying.
It's super annoying. It's the worst because sometimes it'll be something I genuinely want to hear, but other times I'll hear them say it. I know what they're looking for. And I could just, I know how much it hurts them for me not to say anything. And I'll just sit there silently, and I'll hear, and just the facial expressions and stuff. And I'm just sitting there and inside giggling, just keeping a straight face just in case. So they don't know.
Just don't even acknowledge them. You're just like watching TV, you're like,
yeah, just keep it going, pretend I didn't hear it.
Turn it up a little.
and they're not willing to ask the second time because they're intentionally trying not to impose. So if you ask twice, now it's kind of imposing. So, but yeah, similar things where just it annoys you. But that guy's he sounds like a douchebag just in general. So when you add in that he's doing this stuff for pickup lines and to seem cool in front of the guys, and he got a fucking Taurus on his knee, like there's so many options. Like, if you're drunk, you get the Andy put on your foot. Haha, you were drunk, you had a stupid tattoo. You don't get a bull on your knee.
And, like, just for, like...
Your knee. Who
just
gets
for,
a tattoo on your knee?
Just for reference, this wasn't just a small tattoo. This was a knee piece.
Oh.
So, like, I would say from, like, the bottom, like... Because there's, like, the inside of your knee.
Yeah.
That bottom left side of your left knee where, it, like, kind of, like, you feel, like, that tendon there.
Yeah.
From, like, there to, like, the top of your kneecap. Like, that whole part of his knee. And maybe, like, a good, like, 5 inches on top and below the knee. Like, it covered that whole place. Like, it was much bigger than a handprint. That was his whole knee got covered. That's a big tattoo, and that's a lot of blacking.
Yeah, that's dropping a lot of drunk money. Like,
it looks terrible.
Yeah. Oh, that's even worse. That's very, very tough.
And he was just like, yeah, I'm crazy. And he's still trying to he's still trying to play that out. I'm just like, bro.
And that's, yet again, that's the kind of guy. Like, he's not going to get this stupid camel toe. He's not going to get the thing that would be a funny drunk thing to do. He's going to get something that's not funny. It's nothing. It's completely like, oh, does that mean anything to you? No. Okay, if we don't, why are we talking about it anymore? Like, that's terrible.
The same guy, he wasn't a bad guy. He just, like, annoyed me so much that I couldn't hang out with him too much because he just, like, really frustrated me. There was one time it was Halloween freshman year, and we're at this club as everyone's kind of dressed up for Halloween, right?
Yeah.
I was in something pretty lame, pretty basic. I think it was like the first time I got a convict costume, so I was just like basically in an orange outfit. Nothing really creative there, but like I was comfortable and I was able to.
Oh, you wore a jumpsuit somewhere? What, a tracksuit? You switched the colors.
It wasn't even a tracksuit. It was like from like Party City or something. So it was just like a loose orange T-shirt basically, and like orange pants. It was so basic.
Just wearing slacks.
But anyways, like I was nice. I could move. I could dance. I could have a good time. I didn't have to worry about some headpiece or like sweating my bag off or something. Anyways, so he came in this full Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat outfit, and he was like, with his fucking poses and shit, and his, and he had the whole thing down, and I'm looking at it as a nerd, and I'm like, it's kind of dope. I respect the outfit. I've always kind of been into cosplay. I like that shit, so I was like, that's kind of dope, actually. Problem was, we're going to a club, talk to girls, and they don't know what Mortal Kombat is, and they certainly don't know what Sub-Zero is, so I'm talking to this girl, and he comes over, and she's dressed as, like, a cow or something, and he comes up, he's like, hey, are you a cow? And she's just like, obviously. and she's like, looks at him, obviously, that's what you do at Halloween, you reciprocate the outfit checkout, and she's like, he got so upset when she didn't know what the fuck he was.
You a ninja?
And she's like, she didn't even say ninja, she just looked at him like, and you're... like, like, what are you? And he's like, he puts his arms, and he's like, I'm Sub-Zero. And she's just like looking at him like, am I supposed to know what that is?
Do I look like I play Mortal Kombat?
Anyways, she ends up getting scared off by him, and he's just like pretty pissed. He's like, what the fuck? How did she not know what my costume was? I'm like, bro, like...
At least try and like do like the get over here, like just do something. Like don't be like, oh, it's just me. I know it's a different guy, but it's a iconic thing for Mortal Kombat. Try and make it
like funnier, more digestible for the popular crowd.
Yeah, so I'm done with this fucking guy. But
yeah, this guy kills me.
Every Halloween story I can think of ends in, I think, either me or Ryan getting in some kind of fight. The good one was the house on Yale. Because I'm not supposed to say names because I fucking do it all the time. But I already said Ryan. But I remember that one I dressed as a hippie. I had the white pants, hair, blah blah blah, the whole 9 yards. And then I remember Ryan started the fight with another kid because he was dancing near I'll just blurt out the name Katie so that we can actually make this work out here.
I love how it was so easy for me to come up with fake names. And you're just like, fuck it, I can't think of anything.
I don't use fake names. I use exact names, and fuck it if it doesn't work.
Tell a story, Kyle. Just tell a story.
But he gets in the fight. But then I remember I ended up like normal at that time. I get way too drunk, and I end up getting thrown in Wyatt's car. I shut the doors, lock it. I'm gonna sleep in here. He'll drive me home later. So then, fast forward a couple hours, I wake up. I'm in the middle of a field. It's raining. I'm in the middle of the field. I have no idea how I got here. My pants are white but stained now with mud and grass. My hair's gone. All I've got is I don't have my real glasses. All I've got is my hippie glasses, so I can't see shit. So I get up and I'm kind of like, okay, let's just take my surroundings in. It's just an open field, but I kind of see the road down, so I walk up the road, figure out where I am, get back to the house that we were at. I go into the party area, and I see that there's this fucking nice blanket on the couch. I'm like, fuck it, I'll go sleep here. I go to lay down on top of it, and I see her, get off me! There's a girl in this bear costume that I just cozied up into at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I run because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and I don't want anything. I end up sleeping on chairs and everything.
Pause. You woke up in a field next to some random girl in a bear?
No. I left the field, went to the road, found my way back to the party.
Oh.
But then get to the couch that's there, and I thought it was a blanket. But it was a girl in a bear costume. Yet again, I don't have my real glasses. I have hippie glasses, so I'm just seeing whatever I want.
Kyle's sleepy, blind, and he's trying to fluff up his pillow, but she's firmer than he thought. He's oh, yeah.
This is better.
Yeah, I just beat your pillow up a little. Oh, that's better. Now I can sleep.
Well, yeah, I don't think I've ever survived a Halloween. Lately I have. The last couple of years it's been pretty easy. Oh, but I've had my fair share of bad Halloweens.
Halloween was just always cringe for me because I never really wanted to dress up that much. And whenever I did decide to dress up, I went for it, and then I'd find myself, I put in so much effort to put this costume together, and, go to these places, like thrift stores and this and that to, find things, and then it would be, the night of 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever, getting ready to go out, and I'm, standing in front of the mirror, I'm like, I am such a fucking idiot. There's a picture floating around, I think it's on my Facebook, I don't think it's that hard to find, of, this one Halloween, and I think I was dressed as Flava Flav. So
with the big
but no, I didn't go hubcap. I literally bought a fucking clock. I bought a fucking, it's a Toy Story clock. I bought a fucking Viking helmet. I had these ridiculous glasses. Some I'm so crazy with this jacket and this t-shirt and these pants. I was so wacky.
Yeah.
I looked like a fucking idiot. I had this gross chin strap beard at the time, and it was terrible.
And then when you go all in on a Flava Flav, it's you don't Flava Flav isn't just one costume, so you just look like a weird guy.
And most people didn't get it.
No, the clock would be the only thing that you can kind of okay, that's Flava Flav, but the rest is just guessing.
Most people are just it wasn't anything recognizable enough that people would be Flava Flav. Yeah. I had to do that, and that was me for the whole night. Flava Flav, and no one got the joke, and I'm just I'm just hanging out by myself.
I'm gonna just take these goggles off for a minute here.
And so we ended up going to some club. I can't even remember where. My one buddy was doing a couple's costume with his girlfriend. They dipped relatively. Oh, geez. Big yawn. They dipped relatively early in the night, so I don't even know what happened to him. And then I had, my other two roommates, they just, got drunk, and, I didn't really see them for most of the night. And I just found myself, I had, a bunch of friends that were there, but, all the people I went with weren't with me.
Gone.
And I just found myself, I'm just at this club by myself, basically. And, so, for those that don't remember or don't know, I don't drink. So, I went out to this bar completely fucking dead sober, dressed like a fucking idiot on Halloween. And everyone's just, hanging out, our whole, it was it was organized by people that were on the football team. So, like, this whole place is basically packed with people that I know. Yeah. So it's not like I'm, like, the loner that doesn't know anybody here. I could go talk to any of these people, but I didn't come with anyone because they're not, like, my boys. Yeah. And so, like, I'm just, like, basically here, I'm alone, but I'm not. But I'm just, like, bored. But, like, they're still, like, let's have fun. It's Halloween, yeah. And I'm like, I'm just going to go fucking dance. Why not? I'll just go fucking dance. You dance over here, dance over there, dance with these people, these people. Sometimes you pull a lady, dance with her for a little bit, whatever. And, like, this particular night, like, my costume was just so fucking ridiculous. And I just remember this clock was just getting so heavy on my fucking neck. And I've got my sunglasses on in this dark club, and I can't see anything. And I'm just like, like, flavor. I'm just vibing for no reason. Yeah. I was dancing in the middle of the fucking dance floor, and I'm just like, I had, like, it was a bad time. I'd probably danced for, like, a good, like, a couple hours, to be honest. But, like, I just remember, like, leaving thinking, yeah, I don't know if that was worth the hype. Like, all that effort I put in that costume, for what? Yeah. I was probably better off being a convict. Like, it was just such a fucking weak costume. I was like, this is dumb.
Jesus. So, I'm not going to use the transition, but on the more recent events, you hear about the new things going on with Papa John himself?
I know Papa John dropped the N-word like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so the backstory, 2 years ago, he has, I have kind of, not the transcript of what he said, but basically, 2 years ago he resigned because there was a conference call, and he used the N-word, and then, reflected on his early life in Indiana, where he said, people used to drag African Americans, I'm sure he used that term, from trucks until they died.
Whoa, Pies, what?
Yeah, that's a fair thing to put on a conference call in 2018. That seems you'll probably be okay.
Hella sus. Continue.
So, resigns. So the newest thing is he's in headlines because he's been working to get himself better. So in his words, oh yeah, he also thinks it's bullshit that he lost his job and that it was an attack on him from the left-wing propaganda.
Left-wing propaganda.
He said it. Like, this is
all right.
But so he's like, I used to lay in bed just going, how did they do this? And for me, we've had 3 goals for the last 20 months. To get rid of this N-word in my vocabulary and dictionary and everything else, because it's just not true. Figure out how they did this and get on with my life. He's spent the last 20 months focusing on how to stop saying the N-word. That's it.
It's not that hard.
But like, just think about how ingrained into his vocabulary it is that he's still like, I can't say the word triggered. I can't go to basketball games because this word is focused in my vocabulary. Like,
wow, that's so brutal.
Like, that's crazy.
That's embarrassing.
And just to think of how he feels like he's doing good. He's willing to go out there and be like, you guys, 20 months, I'm almost done. I say it like 3 times a week now. It used to be every day.
I pack a day. Now I just like, pack a week.
Yeah. Now I buy 1 pack on Friday and I don't buy another till the next.
Oh boy.
This guy, like, it's crazy that that's a real person. It's kind of like what I said before. Until like I start reading up and finding these things, I never know these are real people. Like these issues that people bring up, I've never really seen it for the most part. So all of it is like secondhand that I see. But like when you see somebody that clearly had a shitload of money, was at least smart enough to get to his position, but still dumb enough to, even if like that is part of your vocabulary, you're not smart enough not to say it on conference calls. You're not smart enough to not say it to anybody else. Like, sit at home, sing the rap song, say the word to yourself if that's what you need to do, but don't bring it out like that. That's how dumb and racist, like actual racist, this guy is, that he's willing to say it out in public. Some craziness.
I think my favorite part of the whole Papa John thing is Papa John doesn't work for Papa John's.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's hilarious.
I don't know how Papa John... Like, I think Shaq pretty much owns Papa John's now. He just took it over. Which, probably, that's the reason it's taken 20 months. Like, he's probably heated. Him and his boys in Indiana. Like, if he wasn't 7'6".
Oh, boy. That's so tough.
It's so crazy when you
now I want pizza.
When you hear that,
do I order pizza
know, every
after this?
time I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Yo, do I support the new Papa John?
Papa John's.
So does he still get dividends?
We're gonna start a Twitch stream, and it's gonna be us ordering pizza. Please donate to cover the cost. That'd be so funny. Oh man,
that might not be funny. That might be a business plan. like I think we can do it. Like because fucking Barstool, like, he has a whole pizza review. He just goes and buys pizza, eats it, says it's good or bad. Like that's all he does. Anybody could fucking do that. I think that's what we need to do. Is just start doing what Barstool does. Anything. He just randomly does shit and gets paid for it.
I've been watching so much like Gordon Ramsay kitchen nightmares and just like watching all these people in the kitchen and how they like do all that stuff. That stuff to me is just like so amusing, especially because I work in a restaurant, just to see.
Fuck! I slammed my pinky toe. Ah! Ow! Like I'm not even fucking walking, and I just. Alright, go on with your kitchen nightmare. I fucking got the living room nightmares here.
This guy's kicking the
dining room table's not working out for me.
Good, bro.
I'll make it.
Yeah, I just watch these kitchen nightmares, and they're so funny to me. Just watching people just like not give a fuck, and like some of the rancid ass food, and just people like stealing shit from the restaurant sometimes. Like, I watched this one episode. There was this dude, they call him the Buzzard, because he's just like always buzzing around, eating shit, taking shit, and he's just like, yeah. They'll like cut like different scenes, and Gordon Ramsay's like walking around looking, and you see Buzzard in the back of the room. Fucking, she made a little wrap or something. He's eating something, and then there's one night where they end up firing this guy because on one of the nights Gordon's there, he sees him like take off with like grocery bags, and he's like, what's this?
What's up with this guy?
And so he tracks him down. He's like, hey, like, you just like taking shit. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, what do you mean? Yeah. Like, does she know you're taking shit? He's like, yeah, she knows. It's fine. And he's like, let's go back to the restaurant. I feel like we should, like, I want to hear from her.
Yeah, I feel like we should have a conversation here, not just find you a grocery bag and be like, oh yeah, cool.
And so they get back to the restaurant and they open up like what he's got. And he's got, like, a little sandwich for tomorrow, a little, like, salad for later, and, like, a fucking rack of lamb dinner in one thing, and, like, 3 bottles of wine. This guy's just like, like, whatever.
That's how long he's been doing it. He started off taking, like, a bite of a sandwich.
Right.
He ended up with lunch and dinner. That's crazy.
Yeah, this guy's like, fuck it, we're having a party tonight, I'll bring the booze.
But, like, when you look at those, like, 90% of us are that guy. We're Buzzard, where it's like, if the person was cool with it and didn't say anything, we'd probably be like, yeah, this makes sense, I'm down, I'm going to take a little bit. But the thing that separates Buzzard from most human beings is that once the cameras show up, you stop. And then when the cameras leave, you go back to doing your business. Like, she probably did know. That's the thing, is that she probably knew a little bit about, like, what's going on. But once the cameras are rolling, Gordon Ramsay, this would never happen, Mike. Is this happening yours? She's not going to be like, yeah, he can have whatever he wants. No, she's going to take the other side and be the big boss lady and have to fire this guy. So fucking idiots. Whenever cameras show up, stop doing your sus shit. Like, conference call, don't say the N-word. That's rule number 1. Cameras show up, don't steal in front of them. Like, the world would be so much easier if people just could take the common sense and just do your stupid shit at your own house. If you want to be whoever you want to be, do it at your own house. Don't take that shit outside.
So, this old restaurant I used to work at,
the one that never stocked anything.
So this old restaurant I used to work at, there was a buddy of mine that was an ex-employee, and he really didn't like the place. And, like, I understand his feelings were justified. I also didn't like the place, but I was okay at the time, whatever, I was working there. He tried to steal a bottle of wine from the restaurant. And the thing is him and my other buddy that was with him were acting so fucking shady. And they were, like, so nervous around me. And I'm just like, what's going on? You guys are very suspect right now. And so I see him at one point, like, grab his jacket in a certain way and start heading for the door. And I walk up to him, like, relatively, you know, like 3 or 4 feet away. And I look at him like, what are you doing? And he just, like, panics. And he, like, shuffles his arms a little bit. And the fucking bottle of wine falls out of his jacket and just hits the floor and shatters. And he just, like, looks at it. And I just see it on the floor. And I look at him. And he's like... And I'm like... First thing that came to him is... You're the worst fucking thief I've ever met in my life. Are you kidding me? And I just started, like, coming for him. Like, you're so embarrassing. How could you fuck up stealing a bottle of wine? I wasn't even looking. You could have just walked out. You're 6 feet from the door, but you fucked it up.
Yeah.
And I'm just, like, going in on him, making him feel so bad. And he ends up, like, he's, like... He just, like, puts his head down, starts walking to the door. I start following the door. It's just keep fucking, like, you're embarrassing. I hope you learn to never do that again.
You're the most relentless person.
Well, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You fuck up stealing a bottle of wine?
Especially, like you pretty much got an inside man. Like, you just worked there. You knew everybody there. You could probably get away with it.
Like, did I even like the place enough to really regulate that? Like, if I had legit caught you stealing a bottle of wine... Would I have just, like, turned a blind eye and be like, oh, I didn't see it? Honestly, maybe. Fucking maybe. Honestly, I probably would have been so just like, whatever, fuck it. I didn't see anything. But, like, I didn't see anything, and you still fucked it up and dropped it. Oh, my God. So, yeah, I was like, I'm not going to, like, you know, rat on you or, like, you'll get banned or whatever and everyone will hate you. I'm not going to, like, call the police because you didn't fucking take anything. I'm not even going to make you pay for it. I just want you to know that you should be ashamed of yourself for how pathetic you are at stealing. It just killed me. I was like, how could you even do that?
Okay, so another stealing one. For all intents and purposes, I was running beside the people.
What was that again? Say that phrase again.
You heard it.
I just feel like you didn't know.
You can elaborate yourself.
I just feel like you don't know that saying as well.
I do, but I don't know how to say it. I know what saying I'm looking for. This is what I'm finding way more is I just say shit, and I didn't realize how much I did it. Like, you know Trailer Park Boys, how like, Ricky would just random. I do that all the time, and Brittany thought I was quoting, like...
She thought you were quoting Trailer Park Boys.
But it's just me saying shit wrong.
You're mumbling sayings because you don't know what they're saying. Yeah, you just know the sound.
I just make new shit up as I go. But all intents and purposes is what I was going for there. So back in high school days, we're at the old 7-Eleven, and see the guy pulls up across the. Normally, like the guys that would pull up the trucks to load them up with candy or whatever, they pull right up to the store so that they're right there. But for some reason, this guy didn't. He parked across the street, and it was the ice cream guy. So he had loaded up a bunch of shit on his on his thing, pull it down, walks across the road to get into 7-Eleven. Immediately, these four individuals are like, "Okay, let's go." Run in, jump in the back, grab a bunch of the ice cream. As they're getting out, and I'm sitting on the sideline as a nice guy just watching people, and the guy starts yelling and starts running, and so everybody books it, and everybody's got like a shitload of ice cream, so we're not running fast. By the time that they stopped running, all the ice cream was just on the ground. Nothing was taken. All it did was really piss this guy off.
Everyone's like freaking out. They're just dropping all the fucking ice.
It was just the worst thievery yet again. Even if he caught us, what is he gonna say? Oh, they just ran away from me. Like, we didn't take shit. They didn't take shit.
That's so tough.
But, man, that 7-Eleven was always bad news bears. So I just, that reminded me of probably the most suspect story I've ever had. So back in middle school days.
Oh,
so
boy.
Even further.
Oh, boy.
So I'm at this guy's having a birthday party. We're gonna call him Q. And there's probably 5-6 of us there. And this other guy, Carl, he wants to come to the party, but nobody really likes Carl. But we know he'll do anything to show up.
I remember.
So we're talking. So basically, he shows up. We're like, you can't come to a birthday party with no gift. And like, Mads didn't have any money. Like his family didn't have any money at all. So
Kyle
we
was
knew he
picking
wasn't
on the
coming.
poor kid because
I was also poor, but I could afford a gift. So fuck that guy. He's poorer than me. But so we're like, okay, you can't come to the party without a gift. So he's like, oh, fine, leaves. So we're just doing whatever. A couple hours goes by. We just hear no on the door. So we open up. He comes running in. We're like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? We said you can't come. He's like, I got you a gift to Q. And he throws like a couple $100 and a hat at him. And we're like, what the fuck just happened? So he had went down the street, held up the local corner store with a fucking knife, and like, give me all your money. And like, this is him describing it to us. He's like, he goes in there, give me all your money. I want it all. And as they're getting the money out, he's looking around because he's still looking for a gift because he wants to get into our party still.
And there's nowhere to buy anything over there. Like, once you get the money, you couldn't have done anything with it.
Yeah, so he's looking around and he's like, hey, give me that hat too. One hat, and then the couple $100. So he's telling us this, and we're like, holy shit, this guy's really dumb. We could take advantage of the situation. And we
already got this guy to hold up the local community.
We did not tell him to do nothing. We had said, you want a gift, go get a gift, come back. We were hoping he would just not come back. Turns out he was a resilient man. He should have fared well. He's an entrepreneur in the worst kind of way. So
this guy was so fucking dumb. I know exactly who you're talking
about. I know you do. Anybody listening has a good chance I went to Rundle. But so immediately, I'm a business guy, and I'm like, we'll all tell if you don't give us money. I immediately extorted.
If you don't give us money, we'll tell on you.
We started extorting. And he's like, oh, fine. And he ends up giving an undisclosed amount of money. He ends up, I think, all in all, having like $50. He ends up with himself. He just robbed the store.
Robbed the store $50 just to come hang out with you guys.
No, so we're done. We're all this, and then we're like,
oh my God.
Are those the same clothes you're wearing when you robbed the store? He's like, yeah. He's like, you can't be here. Because the people that I was with at the time, they had like illegal drugs on them. And they're like, you can't be at this house. Like, you have all this stuff. They might have followed you. You got to leave. We kicked them out of the bar.
He robbed the store to hang out with you, and you extorted him and kicked him out of the party. You're so mean.
It gets better. Yeah. So you didn't have any change of clothes. The motherfucker walks down the street past the store. The cops are in the store. They arrest him right there because they're like, it's that guy. They just look out the window.
Like, and can't even describe it. It's fucking him right there. That kid right there.
So he gets arrested. The next day, it was in the paper that he had gotten arrested, and like it was all through, I think, not social media. It was like before that, it was like MSN Messenger, whatever. We're all like finding out about this. So immediately, the next day, I get home from work and from school. Fuck, it's so long
from
ago.
work.
But mom's like, "Oh, what do you want to do today?" I'm like, "Hey, not gonna lie, we gotta go Blockbuster.
I gotta move this cash.
I'm like, not gonna lie, I have some money that I should not have anymore, so I need some games. End up buying a couple games, some controllers.
How much money did you get? He got $50. This guy walked with a couple bills. What?
Like I said, there's a reason he was poorer than me.
He's fucking dumb as shit.
I'm a businessman.
He's dumb as shit. He's got horrible friends.
Friends is a very loose term. We were not friends.
People
He just happened to be there.
Oh my god.
He just happened to keep trying to show up. But that's basically business 101. That's how you have a party.
How's a businessman? Oh my god.
Oh yeah, good times. Good times. Grade 8. I think grade 8 was my scummiest. Like, I got all the shit that, like, people when they're like in their mid-20s and they're like going through their shitty phase. I did that all when I was like 13. Like, I got all that shit out of my system, and I'm like, by 25, I had fucking had a house, wife, getting ready for kids. I was like, all my wild days are behind me.
I'm still dying. You kicked him out of the party.
We were all dying laughing after too, because like at the time, like you don't realize how mean and how funny it is. We were legitimately like, well, you can't stay because you like cops might be looking for you, and for some reason we're like, oh well, they might come here and then we might get arrested for something. Like, I don't know why we would think that even, but we're like, no, you can't be here. Like, you gotta go. And he's like, oh, I get it. Just leaves.
Yeah, I guess so. That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, it was a good birthday.
Oh boy. Wow. I think on that note, my fucking head's pounding now. We gotta wrap it up. I'm laughing too hard. Hopefully this video works out. Appreciate you guys sticking through the pain. If it doesn't,
I'm calling a guy and he's...
We need an actual camera.
I know a guy that'll be our producer for real cheap.
We need to stop filming everything on iPhones. We need actual camera. This ghetto ass studio.
One day.
Anyways,
One day.
peace
Out.